welcome back to another episode of Diatonic Dissection, where we crack open music to see what makes it tick. In this video, we'll be looking at the music for Two-Player Mystic Cave Zone, so the stage that was already incredibly confusing now has the added extra stress of trying to beat your opponent. If you want the sheet music for this video as well as all my other ones for free, head on over to the Patreon, patreon.com/Diatonic Dissection. There's a link down below to save you trying to spell it out. Let's get started. The tempo is 140 BPM and the key is kind of C major. I think the melody is written using the Mixolydian mode. The first chord is G, and the general rule being the first chord dictates the key. However, there are no F sharps. The Mixolydian mode fits into this situation as it is the major scale, but the 7th degree / note is flattened, so the Fs are natural. Make whatever joke you will about natural and Fs. This will be easier to illustrate using a practical demonstration. Here are the G major / Ionian and Mixolydian modes with the chords. With all that in mind, you can see how it sounds very weird with the F sharp. Now, let's get on with it properly. There are 3 chords for section A, and they are G over B, F over A, and A minor over C. These chords bounce around as there isn't really a fixed point of reference. You'll see what I mean when we get to the extra melody parts. Hitting an interpretation early again for this video. While filming the chords video, I realised that it wouldn't sound that out of place in the original Pokemon soundtrack, so I went and learned how to use Furnace Tracker and made this. The first 4 bars of the track serve as an introduction of sorts, and what I have labelled as the main melody doesn't start until this point. The melody itself is pretty simple, so not much to say about it. The counterpoints lead the track by playing the kind of introduction, and aside from that, they're just playing some simple rhythmic emphasis. The extra melody parts get to play the most interesting bit of the entire track with a weird twiddle, it's the only word I can think of, that wouldn't be out of place in a jazz fusion track. After that, they're doing the parts that inform the chords. The harmonic analysis for this section is here between the main melody and the extra melodies, so if you just want the extra melody performances, go to the timestamp on screen. In a first for these videos, both interpretations are within the first section. As I cleverly foreshadowed in the earlier section, I mentioned that the twiddle wouldn't be out of place in a jazz fusion track. Something in the line of Cassiopeia's Space Road, which is an absolute banger that I recommend. Here is my attempt at doing an interpretation in the style of Cassiopeia's Space Road. Bass is playing the same part over and over and over and over and over and over again for the duration of the track. The interesting bit is that it's mechanically a bit awkward, as there are 3/16 notes together that go across a beat. It'll make sense in the drum part, much like the bass part, is a bit mechanically awkward. Your lead hand is bouncing around between the toms while the kick and snare are just doing the standard backbeat. This wouldn't be so bad, but as the tempo is 140 BPM, it took quite a bit of coordination and practice to get it clean, and even then it isn't necessarily spotless. Section B's chords include all the chords from Section A, as well as E minor over G and C over E. Quick side note, dear God, this took me so long to actually get to a presentable standard. There isn't much of a main melody part, as there are 3 parts playing something similar to a round. Think of the song Row 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 Your Boat, where each part starts at a different time. After the halfway point, parts 2 and 3 are playing more of an accompanying part. I would usually put a harmonic analysis within another section, but this one is between two of the main melody parts, and we've just had 3 clips in a row. This clip shows how the round system works in the context of this track. If you want to get to the next section, just go to the timestamp on screen. What I have labelled as the counterpoint is more of another main melody part, as it is playing something similar. For the most part, the extra melody parts are doing a similar thing to what they were doing in section A and making up the chords. It then finishes with the fusion lick from the very start. The bass and drums are doing exactly the same thing again, so these will just be excerpts to save your sanity. That's it, nearly an entire minute of music, stretched beyond recognition into goodness knows how many minutes of musical analysis. If you want the sheet music for this video as well as all my other ones for free, head on over to the Patreon, patreon.com/Diatonic Dissection. There's a link down below to save you trying to spell it out. Thank you very much for watching if you're still here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!